Okay guys, let's get cracking with making our virtual model of the collapsible laptop stand. We're in Omshape. I'm going to go to the blue create box and I'm going to choose document. I'm going to name my document collapsible laptop stand and click create. It lags just a couple of seconds. And it takes me into my Part Studio 1. So for this, I'm going to hide the top plane. So I'm going to click the little eye icon next to the top plane. And I'm going to, excuse me, hide the front plane. It just neatens it up. It makes it a bit tidier for us, less confusing. And over here, my viewing cube, I'm going to click on the right side, so I'm looking directly at the right side. Before I go any further, I'm going to check to make sure I'm working in the correct units. So up here on the three, I call it like a burger bar menu, 3 lines, workspace units. Check to make sure yours is set to millimeter. If it isn't, drop down millimeter, green tick. So the first sketch we're going to do is a center point rectangle. Sketch. Choose the right plane because we want to sketch on that right plane. Now my sketch bar comes alive with all the sketching tools. I'm going to choose center point rectangle. I'm going to snap it to the origin and make sure you snap it to the origin. And I'm going to create a rectangle shape. I'm going to get my dimension tool up. So up here I'm going to choose my dimension tool. I'm going to click on this line on the right, move my dimension off, and I'm going to set that to 130 millimeters. Press enter. So mine's gone quite large there. I'm going to use the roller ball on my mouse just to roll it down so I zoom out. And I'm going to click on the line at the top and I'm going to set that to 200 millimeters. Right, quite happy with that. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to sketch the outside, the side pieces. We're going to sketch the side pieces inside this center point rectangle because I've set the parameters so it's going to be the right size when we finished making it. So this next part is all about using our line, our sketching tools and our trim tool. So I'm going to choose my line tool and I'm going to come approximately here. I'm going to go up. So this is the just drawing part. I'm going to keep it quite simple to start off with. Over to the side here. So try and copy what I'm doing. This line here I want to be parallel. So I'll show you what I've done there is if I want this line that I'm going to draw, this line here, if I want it to run parallel with that slightly darker blue line underneath it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my mouse down so that it rests onto that blue line. The blue line turns orange and Onshape thinks, so you want to do something with this line. So now I'm going to move it up. And I'm going to keep going. In a minute it will go to a dotted orange line there. So I now know those two lines are parallel. It's helping me get things right. So make sure it's parallel and click. Don't keep clicking. Once you've got to this black line left hand side, right click and escape. So now what I'm going to do is use my trim tool pair of scissors at the top, click, and I'm going to trim out the lines I don't need. I'm going to start on the left here. I don't want that black line. I don't want that black line. That blue line. That blue line. Or that blue line. I'm also going to trim out these little dots that we're left with. To finish this off, I'm going to curve the corners because we don't want sharp corners. Remember, the engineering term for rounding off the corner is a fillet. So up here I've got a fillet tool that I can use on this sketch. Now it's up to you here. I'm going to give you a bit of choice as to how far you want your fillet to be, what radius you want your fillet to be. I'm going to go with 10. So I'm going to double click where it says R. I'm going to put the radius of 10 in there. So R10, that's a bend radius of 10 millimeters. That one now defaults to 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Not sure why it didn't let me do it at the end there, so I'm just going to repeat it. White green tick that. I don't know why it's not letting us fillet these two corners. So try and get as many of the corners as you can filleted. I chose a bend radius on my fillet of 10 millimeters. You can play around a little bit, don't make it too big, don't make it too small, but I'll show you how we can fix these corner fillets in a few steps time. So I've drawn my sketch. We're now to make it into a 3D shape. At the moment it's just a line that's been drawn around with no gaps in it. So we need to fillet it, sorry, not fillet it, we need to extrude it. So I'm going to right click on my grey area of my sketch, and I've got the extrude option here. I'm just going to go onto my viewing cube so you can see what's happening. You can see it's now gone from just some lines, a flat shape, to something with some dimension on it. We're going to be using 12mm plywood, so I'm going to change the depth of my extrude to 12mm. And I'm going to green tick. I'm going to name part 1 to, side piece. And I'm also going to right click on it, and I'm going to edit the appearance, and I'm going to make it look like it's more of a wood material. Final thing I need to do is put some holes onto my design. So I've used my viewing cube and I'm looking straight at it again. Sketch. Because I want the holes to actually be in the wood on the side piece, I need to choose the face that I want to sketch on, not the plane. I'm not sketching on the plane, I'm actually sketching on the face of this design now. So left click on the face. Now all my tools become available to me. A center point circle, and we're going to set the diameter in a minute to 9mm on each. Now watch what I do here. I want my circles to line up, so I'm going to use my mouse to, those two are now lined up, and I want I want over here to line up, so I want the center of these circles to be in line. I'm using that dotted line to help me, and over here I'm going to have another, oh, there we go. Let's get the diameters correctly set on these holes. So I'm going to use my dimensions tool, click on the outside of the circle I've just sketched, type in 9, so it's 9mm. It's moved it off of my sketch. That's not a problem, because I can click on my dimension tool and I can move them back to where I want them to be. I need to go and change the diameter of the other ones. That's set to 10. It's going to be 9. That's going to be 9mm, and that one's going to be 9mm. There we go. Green tick. So I've got my 4 circles sketched on the face of the wood, not on the plane, on the face of the wood. If I go to my isometric view, there you can see those circles are sketched on the face of the wood. The final thing for me to do is to actually extrude those circles and remove the material. So let's go up to extrude. We're going to choose remove, because we want to remove the material. I want to remove that one. Click on the center of the heart of the circle. 3, 4. You can see it's removing it. Green tick. Job done. There we go. That's the first part created. I'll do a video for the next part.